Hi, so the Dans are back. We've had about a week to rest. You might notice that my voice has dropped about an octave or so, or we're still recovering from the session. I'm Dan McKay. I'm a reporter in the Capitol Bureau for the Journal. I'm here with my boss, Dan Boyd. He's the Capitol Bureau Chief. As these things go, most of the work of the session gets done in the final days. And now Governor Susana Martinez has about 110, 111 bills to consider. And so the fate of what lawmakers did is basically in her hands at this point. Boyd, you were at the governor's end of the session newser. What kind of sense did you get from her? Are there going to be a lot of vetoes, or is there common ground she found with lawmakers?
I think, compared to last year, she was fairly upbeat about the budget, especially some of the funding for public safety, that was included in that. I think she indicated we won't be back for a special session, which I think we're both thankful for. She did have some criticisms of the legislature for, once again, not passing some of her education initiatives, that they didn't take up comprehensive changes to the tax code. Some things like that, but overall, I think she also praised their bipartisanship on a few issues, including crime legislation that had kind of stalled in previous years, and this year that package is among those bills on her desk.
Yeah, so the story of this session, in contrast to last session, it seemed to me, was bipartisan cooperation. Democrats and Republicans really seemed to make it a point to find common ground on a few things. The extra money in the budget may have made them feel a little more comfortable, may have eased some of the tension. They passed bills dealing with crime, privacy at the spaceport, pushing more money into prosecutors and the court system, especially in the Albuquerque area. They really did find common ground on a lot of issues. But we almost certainly are going to see some vetoes. Last year, more than half the bills got vetoed. Do you see any, are there any particularly obvious points of disagreement, any bills that might be in danger, you think?
I know the governor did mention during her press conference specifically one bill dealing with a new fee on pet food as one that could be kind of in her crosshairs. So that's one to keep an eye on. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if she uses her line item veto authority on the budget, the capital outlay bills, as she's done in the past. But I think you're right. I think there was more of a compromise this year. I think there was also a sense, though, that with this being this governor's last year in office, that legislators kind of wanted to maybe hold off on some of the more hot-button issues, that we could see those back next year and maybe a little more emphasis on them. Not saying they're all going to happen, but maybe this year kind of take care of some essentials and leave some of the other lifting until next year.
So, of course, we're headed into an election season. Democrats in particular will be picking a gubernatorial candidate. The Republican candidate will be Steve Pierce. One of the things that came up this year, obviously, was the conduct of the legislature, the legislators themselves. We've seen a broad Me Too movement across the country. One of the more interesting stories you had this week was about how that played out in this session. What did we see? Did the anti-harassment policy make a difference?
Well, I think there's certainly more awareness of those issues, a broader awareness. There already have been 5 different claims filed under this new policy, 2 involving legislators, and it was determined that they didn't rise to the level of warranting further action, so they haven't disclosed the names of those individuals. But I think that just the fact that in a month already we've seen 5 different reports filed may be a kind of indicator of what's to come on that.
So we hope that you guys will keep following us on Twitter, reading our stories on the website or in the newspaper. We certainly do appreciate and don't take for granted our readers. You're welcome to send us story ideas or comments. It will be a really busy year for us. All 70 members of the State House will be up for election. Voters will be picking a new governor. And there are also some constitutional offices on the ballot, like treasurer, to open races for Congress. Those are things that us Dans will be working hard on this year. So thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, and certainly we'll be, continuing our coverage through March 7th is the deadline for the governor to act on bills. So we'll be following all those right up to the deadline and keeping you posted. And I almost feel like we should close with a song and dance routine here, but I'm not sure I have it in me. So thanks.
I definitely don't. Thanks.